So, I've been reading this book, Die with Zero, and it's helped me to realize that comics are saving my life. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, the main theme of this book is a re-examination of the classic Aesop fable, The Ant and the Grasshopper. And if you're unfamiliar with that story, it's about a group of ants who work really hard one summer to gather and store food, while a grasshopper just spends the summer playing music. And so when winter rolls along, of course, the ants end up being fine. They have plenty of food to make it through the cold months, but the grasshopper ends up starving. And of course, the moral of the story is that we need to work hard and we need to save so that when hard times come, we'll be okay. And that story really resonates me because I'm a big believer in hard work and saving and in investing, and doing so has brought me a lot of financial peace and freedom from the worries that I had 10 and 20 years ago. But Perkins warns us that we can go too far in being an ant and give our whole lives to gathering and storing and saving without remembering to invest in other things that are important. So he encouraged us to not only seek to grow our wealth, but also to grow other areas of our lives, and in particular, to seek to grow our happiness. And he doesn't talk about this, but even from a financial perspective, I think the best thing you can do is to grow your happiness, because happiness is directly correlated to longevity. And as I've talked about in previous videos, perhaps the best way to build wealth is to live as healthy as you can for as long as you can. First of all, because the healthier you are, the more years that you are going to be able to work and simply earn more money. But more importantly is because of the eighth wonder of the world, compound interest. And if you are diligent to save and invest, then the money that you are going to be earning off your investments in your 70s and your 80s is going to dwarf what you're making off those investments now. And so I want to live a long time, because when I'm 81, boom, the money I'm going to be making, I expect to be quite substantial because I'm making sacrifices to save and invest now. But then if I can make it till I'm 82, boom, even more money that I'll be making. And it's really important to me. As you know, I have a lot of children, and I really want to set them up to have a better life than me. And part of this book really resonates with me as well when it talks about helping your children even before you die, which is something my dad did. He really saved and invested and helped me purchase my first home, which got me years ahead of my peers. And I'm so thankful to my dad for doing that. And I really want to do that for my children. But also, when I die, I don't want to completely die with zero. He advocates basically doing that completely before you die. I don't want to quite do that. But I do want to help my children while I'm young and while they really need it in their 20s and 30s. But when I die, I want to be able to leave them a sizable inheritance. And so the longer I can live, the greater the inheritance that I can leave for them. But this means that for me, buying comics is not a waste of money. And in fact, it's one of the best uses for money because it will bring me happiness, which will increase my longevity and just bless many other areas of my life. Obviously, if I'm happy, then I'm going to be a better dad. I'm going to be a better husband. And so happiness is super important. Now, obviously, again, we can swing to the other side and be irresponsible in our spending. And I'm not saying clearly spend all your money on comics, but I'm saying that we should spend some. But something even more interesting in this book is that he describes how happiness doesn't actually come from buying things as much as it does from our experiences and the memories that we build from those experiences. So in other words, like when you're thinking of investing, I think of planting a seed and watching it grow through, once again, the miracle of compound interest over time. Well, when I have a moment of happiness, what I'm doing is planting a memory in my heart. And over time, that memory begins to grow. And so if I want to have a happy heart, I want to plant as many good memories as I can in my heart. And so those memories are investments, true investments in my future in every sense of the word. But Perkins talks about how those memories come not so much, again, by buying things, but by experiences. And so it's got me to think of how even more valuable than the comics that I buy are the experiences that I have in collecting comics. And so it's important that we have joyful experiences in this hobby, which is probably obviously the reason we're all in it, right? And what we enjoy about the hobby may be different. Some people may just enjoy looking at beautiful art. Some people may enjoy the stories. I think for me, something I really enjoy is the thrill of the hunt. Whenever I am able to buy a book for $5 that I know is going for $20 on eBay, there's just a thrill that I get from that and that experience. Every time I hunt down a book and I get it for less than fair market value, there's this little memory seed that plants in my heart. And that, again, I really do believe experiences its own compound interest and grows over time. For others of you, it might be going to Comic Cons. Probably many of us who are doing YouTube, we get joy out of this experience and we're planting memories. But I'm curious, what experiences do you really enjoy in this hobby? And one of the awesome things about happiness coming more from experiences than the things that we buy is that this means that all of us can find happiness in this hobby, no matter what your budget is. It's pretty unrealistic that I'll ever get an Action Comics #1, but I can still have a bunch of joy hunting through dollar bins, and perhaps just as much joy as whoever ends up buying that Action Comics #1. Because again, it's not about the comic as much as it is about the experience. In fact, one of my greatest memories from a few years ago when I got back into this hobby was buying the full run of the Kraven's Last Hunt storyline for about $20, because it usually probably goes for certainly over $50, probably closer to $100. And I had it when I was a kid because I got it in a collection of comics that was given to me. But as a kid, that storyline was just super dark, and so I didn't like it, and so I traded it away. Well, as an adult, I read through and realized, wow, this is obviously a mature storyline, but I love it, and dang it, I had it, but I traded it away. And so the day I got that storyline back for just $20, boom! Joy planted right in my heart. And even now you can see, this is years later, that joy is still growing. And so this has just motivated me more than ever to responsibly, once again, there's obviously lots of things I need to invest in, right? But one of the things I need to invest in is my happiness. And I need to get out there, hunt, while still paying attention to my wife and my kids, still putting food on the table, still saving some money and investing. So when I'm in my 80s, maybe I will get that Action Comics #1. But I do need to truly prioritize collecting comics, and not simply out of some sense of greediness or silliness, but because it's an investment in my future. Now, what do you think? Am I crazy? Now, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so now. Once again, tell me what experiences you love in this hobby. Like the video. Thank you.